Hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jhona. This is Jhona OhMGee. Today we'll be reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 5. So we start this episode off with Ashley going over to Candace's house. This is just like an hour after the news has broke out that she's getting a divorce to Michael. So she's finally arriving at Candace's house. This is her first time at Candace's house. You know, they've had a tumultuous relationship up until now. And, well, it didn't last too long. I'll just say that, but we'll get into it. So Candace is asking about the parameters of Ashley's separation. So we found out that they can sleep under the same roof, but they can't sleep in the same bed. And then they can't have any sexual contact with each other. But who knows if they've been abiding by that, because Ashley just swears she just be wanting to jump Michael's bones. And I'm like, girl, why? But anyway, but the way Ashley answered that question and quickly deflected, she was like, yeah, we just can't sleep in the same bed. But how about you? I love your hair. I mean, I was like, dang, Ashley. Ashley do not like the heat on her. She hates answering questions. But I'm like, girl, you get a divorce, people are going to ask questions. Like, that's just a normal thing. But she does not like the heat. She quickly deflected. So Candace mentioned that she has canceled her IVF treatment. She said she's just under a lot of stress right now. She says it's because of the girls, but I feel like there's some underlying things going on. Because I'm like, Candace, surely you're not letting these girls stress you out that much. Not Giselle and them, surely, right? But she's not doing IVF right now, so hopefully she'll pick back up on that soon. But she did bust out Ashley for dating some hockey player. Ashley fell out of her seat, so I'm like, okay, it had to be true that she's dating some hockey player. But she mentioned that she went out with some friends, and then I guess said hockey player was there, and so they had dinner and drinks or whatever. But she said that she compares everyone to Michael because the banter with her and Michael, they can just talk about anything. And I'm like, girl, you're comparing people to Michael Darby? I mean, I'm assuming he's a great guy, but obviously she wouldn't be so attached to him if he wasn't, right? I don't know. Or that money, honey. So Candace mentions that there are some rumors, or maybe Ashley started this off, but anyway, that there have been some rumors circulating about Karen having a boyfriend, which is not the first time that we've heard this. We heard this a couple seasons ago that Karen had a little boyfriend on the side. And per the conversation that Karen and Ray had when they were in the nail salon last episode, it's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched that these rumors, there may be some truth to it, but I'm sure more will reveal itself later on within the season. So we move on to Mia and her family, and they're talking about a soft opening. They're opening up another clinic, and Mia's like, hopefully this is the last one. I'm sure there's a lot to opening up a new business. So I think they have 24. Is it that many? Maybe 12. 2 was somewhere in there. It's either on the front end or the back end, but 12 or 24 locations currently open of the joint chiropractic. So Gordon says he wants to address the big elephant in the room, the mystery surrounding Mia's health. And Mia had this like blank stare on her face, like she didn't know what Gordon was finna bring up or talk about. And I'm like, she had that same face when her mom, a couple episodes ago, when her mom asked her about her health. And I'm like, girl, your health is a hot topic right now, a big topic. Like, people are concerned about you. Why are you looking that way with this blank face when people ask you about what's going on with your health? Like, what? I'm so confused about Mia. And that brings me to my statements in my first video about I don't think Mia is authentic. She doesn't read authentic on the camera. It's like, girl, of course people have questions about your health. And she was like, what about it? When Gordon asked. What do you mean? What about it? What's going on? What are the results? What's the next step? Have you talked to the doctor? Have you scheduled a surgery? Girl, there are so many questions. What? What about it? What do you mean? So she then mentions that she does have to get like lumps and some lymph nodes or some nodes removed. But then in that same breath, she mentioned she was taking a trip to Miami. I'm like, where they do that at? So you're gonna wait a couple months to have this surgery? Like, do we know? I mean, okay, they said they ruled out cancer, but I mean, is this leaving the lumps? Is it not detrimental to your health? Like, me personally, I would want to go ahead and get this taken care of. Like, I'm not prolonging the surgery months later and then taking a trip. Like, you never know how altitude can like affect you. I don't. Why are we waiting months again to remove these lumps? I guess because she doesn't want to wait to recover. I don't know. Anyway, she's thinking about taking a trip to Miami, so of course she's gonna invite the ladies, I'm sure. So we learned, which wasn't any surprise to me, but we learned that Mia definitely got with Gordon while he was still married to his ex-wife, first wife, or however many wives he's had thus far. But she was still married. He was still married to his ex-wife, and Mia got with him, and they was having sex on the beach and people watching. And I was just like, girl, I hope y'all weren't shocked, because I wasn't shocked at all. I figured it was something like that, how Mia got with him. I'm like, I just felt it in my bones that he was probably still married when they got together. So didn't surprise me one bit. So we move on to Giselle. She's out with her girls. They're going to get mani-pedis. As I was watching that, I was curious. I was like, I wonder if the girls are close to Jamal's other kids that he had on Giselle. Like, because he had like 6 other kids. I wonder, have they all like met as a family? Like, surely they know their other siblings and stuff, right? Ooh, child, that is a mess, honey. So I was looking at the girls. Grace's face was beat, honey. And I was like, dude, did I wear that much makeup when I was 17? But makeup really wasn't a thing when I was that age. I mean, definitely probably some ugly blue eyeshadow. I'm sure. I am sure some ugly blue eyeshadow. But her face was beat. I'm like, did she do her own makeup? She go to an artist? Anyway. So Giselle says that her and Jamal do have great co-parenting relationship, and she does wish the same for Ashley. All I know is Jamal better show up to that Sweet 16. Something told me, I can't remember, I can't recall exactly, but it was something that happened last season with the girls that Jamal didn't show up to. Or maybe it was something with Giselle that Jamal didn't show up to. And I was like, okay, great co-parenting relationship. He still lives in Atlanta. Like, y'all still so far from each other. But he better be at that Sweet 16 party. I know that much. So next we move on to Robin. She's meeting up with a lawyer to discuss the prenup. But then I just realized, I was like, girl, we don't even have a wedding date. You haven't even set a date for the wedding. Do we even know if this is soon? If this is coming up? Is it happening anytime soon? We don't even know. You haven't even set a date. But anyway. Oh, and then Robin's ring was huge. I never realized how big that ring is. Ooh, it's too gaudy for my taste. It is so massive. I mean, some people like those big old chunky rings like that. I do not. I have small hands, dainty fingers. I can't have no big old chunk like that. But that ring is humongo. She did mention that there's a disparity in income. So Robin has the hat line. She also has the podcast with Giselle. And of course, she has Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm not sure of anything else she does, but those 3 in itself. And if you remember from last season, she was getting some major brand deals with that hat line. So I'm sure, hopefully, if she's made that progress a little bit more, she's able to connect those brand deals. So she's probably getting a lot of revenue from that headline. The podcast, everybody kind of knows about it at this point. And then, of course, Real Housewives of Potomac. So, and then one is a college basketball coach. So I mean, and I know they can make a lot of money, but with those three things that Robin have under her belt, I can see the disparity in income. If one is not, if he doesn't have an extra stream of income coming in, Robin clearly is the breadwinner. So of course she asked the lawyer about an infidelity clause, if that's something that can be laid out in the prenup. And the lawyer asks, is that something that you're worried about? And Robin says she's a realist, and that's the reason for their first divorce in the first place, that one stepped out on the marriage. So she'd be crazy to think that it couldn't happen again, which is true. Like, if he did it once, he may do it again. I don't know. You never know. People can change, right? So, yeah, she wants to incorporate that somewhere in the prenup, which I think is a smart move, honestly. So next we move on to Karen and Ashley, and later on Wendy meets up with them. They're at this like tulip farm, flower patch or whatever. So Ashley says she doesn't give. So they're talking and stuff, and then Ashley mentions that she doesn't give a shit about Michael getting a vasectomy, and I'm like, nah, girl, now Ashley. See, I'm gonna be on Ashley neck this season. I'm gonna be on her neck because just last episode you were just talking about how emotional you were that Michael was getting a vasectomy because you there's not gonna be any chance to have any more kids with him. But now this episode you don't give a shit, girl. Please, Ashley, stop it. I don't. The girl is crazy. The girl is crazy to me. I don't understand her. But anyway, I'm just like, make up your mind. I just do not want to be on this roller coaster with Ashley and Michael. I mean, I could hop off, but I'm intrigued on where it's going, right? I was looking at Ashley's confessional look, and I had a similar wig, the like wig with the bang. It didn't look cute on me, and it doesn't look cute on Ashley either. Those long hair wigs is because it makes you look like you have a cone head coming from the top. They're just not cute. But anyway, Karen mentioned that she was upset that Wendy's kids weren't at the family fun day, and I concur. I was equally upset. I just thought it was so distasteful, Robin, not to invite Wendy and her kids. I mean, the family fun day was a poop show anyway. I mean, Robin just doesn't do well with throwing these events. She just does not have the creative eye. Like, the girl, hire a planner, like hire a decorator, hire somebody if you ain't got the eye to do it. My goodness gracious. But I am definitely on Wendy's side in this situation. Like, how you gonna call somebody else to call me to tell them to bring my kids? Minor kids at that, which I'm with her. Like, I think her daughter Cameron is only 2. And I know Candace and Wendy are like close, but are they close to the fact where where Candace could bring her small children on her behalf? I'm with Wendy on that one. I am. So next thing we have Candace and Chris and her sister, and they're discussing the re-release of her album Deep Space. And she did mention that Trina is going to do a feature on the album. So I thought that was really big. So kudos to Candace. She even mentioned that Trina agreed to do the video as well. So this is really going to be like a deluxe album. She has a new song coming out that with hopefully Trina. So her people have already sent the contracts to Candace's team. So kudos, Candace. I think that's going to be a big look for her. Has the song already came out? I don't think I've heard it yet. Has the album been re-released thus far? Maybe they're waiting till like the end of the season or something to amp the promo. I don't know. So while they were at the tulip farm, Wendy mentioned, she alluded that she was gonna invite the ladies to some sort of event. So we then learned from Candace, because she read the invite out, that it's going to be the burn session. I'm calling it the mess session because we know it wasn't gonna be anything but some mess. So as they were headed to the burn session, Wendy mentions to Ashley that she has kidney stones, and child, I'm just like, girl, your body is telling you to slow down, Wendy. Your hair is falling out. Okay. Now you have kidney stones. Like, girl, your body is telling you you need to relax. You need to slow down. I mean, you still are teaching. You got the political commentary. You still have the candle line. You have 3 little kids. You have what else? And then she's trying to open up this lounge. I'm like, nix the lounge, Wendy. Nix the lounge. Like, just take care of the stuff that's currently on your plate. Like, your hair falling out, you got kidney stones. Like, your body will tell you to sit down. So we arrive at the burn session, and it's at a winery. And of course, Candace is like, now, Wendy, why you got me on another winery? We know last time they went to a winery, Monique and Candace ended up getting a fight. And so Candace doesn't have any, positive thoughts surrounding wineries. So I'm with her there. That's probably traumatic for her. So the purpose of the burn session, what they're supposed to do, right? They have a notepad, and then they're supposed to write their grievance of whomever, whoever's in the hot seat at that time. You write their grievance, and if you don't have a grievance, you can write an affirmation, and then you say it to the person can respond, and then from there you're supposed to burn it, and that is the way to release it. I was like, sounds nice, sounds like a good plan, but we know with these ladies, probably not gonna work, right? So Wendy's first. So Wendy's in the hot seat first. So Ashley and Candace mentioned that sometimes, initially Wendy has this wall built up, but the ladies are happy that, she's slowly breaking down that wall and they're able to build some sort of relationship with her. Mia mentions that, previously it seems like Wendy doesn't hold herself accountable when she does things. She kind of just like scoots it on the rug and doesn't actually take any accountability for her actions. And when Mia stated her grievance, there wasn't any resolution. Wendy just burnt the notice. Like, she didn't even acknowledge Mia's feelings in that regard. I was like, okay, Wendy, we're already off to a rocky start. Like, you're not clearing the air. You're just burning the notice, but you're still not taking any accountability. The girl made a grievance about you not taking accountability, and then you don't take accountability. I'm like, okay, Wendy, like, you probably should have let somebody else go in the hot seat first if you were still going to be a little eerie. So then we move on to Robin, and Robin says, Wendy and her are just like oil and water. They don't mix, and she's fine with that. So Robin gets upset because Wendy mentioned to Ashley or somebody that Robin was trying to fight her while they were at the dance studio. So Robin was so offended by that. She was like, be careful with your words. I wasn't trying to fight you. Now, Robin, you did stand up out your seat and kind of walk in Wendy's direction. So because y'all were having a heated conversation, she could have took it as a charge toward her. And then so Robin proceeds to call Sharice on FaceTime and ask Sharice, did you have to restrain me from going at Wendy when we were at the dance studio? Did you have to touch me at all to get me back in my seat? Sharice was like, no. I'm like, okay, we know Sharice is going to say no because you're her friend, right? And then, of course, and this is the thing, I don't know why these ladies lie like we don't actually have footage, right? Everything is on the camera or on the mics, Wendy. So I just don't know why you would lie when there is possibly some footage. So I don't understand that. So of course the producers roll that footage, and lo and behold, we see Sharice having her arms on, her hands on Robin, trying to get her back in her seat, trying to restrain her. So yeah, Robin, you did have to need a little restraining. Like, you were trying to it. To me, she wasn't super aggressive in her charge, but she was walking up to Wendy. So you don't know how people interpret that. She could have thought those were fighting words. No, y'all were in a heated conversation. So right? So, but I hollered. That's why I'm like, I don't know why these ladies forget that there is a camera constantly rolling on them. Y'all, we have the footage. Don't lie. So Robin storms out. She's upset. She's like, oh, there's so many fake people in there. And I'm like, okay, other than Wendy, I'm not sure who else she's referring to, because her beef was only with Wendy. Maybe she was just talking about Wendy, but anyway, so they don't get to any resolution between this situation. So Ashley feels the need to bring up yet another allegation toward Chris Bassett, saying that some friend at the spring fling thought that Chris was overly flirtatious with her. And I'm just like, so Candace is like, so you couldn't tell me this while you were just at my house? Ashley was like, well, I just found out this information. I'm like, did you really, Ashley? Did you? Or did you want to say it in the group so you can have some backing? Which is what I personally think. Because I'm like, the spring fling was episode 1. We are now on 5. So you just now received this information about somebody feeling some way at the spring fling thing? Girl, please. So, and then Ashley don't even have no facts. Like, this is just all hearsay at this. And then so she brings up, yeah, Mia said that Chris was staring at her too. And Mia was like, well, I didn't say it was sexual, but he definitely was staring at it. I'm like, okay, girl, this is like, what, the 10th allegation on Chris so far? I'm like, I am sure we're going to hear some more allegations about Chris Bassett later on within this season. I am sure. I can already see where this train is headed. So that was the episode. It wasn't really, I would give it about a 5 out of 10. It wasn't really that great of an episode to me personally. Yeah, I'd give it just a 5. A 5 for episode 5. All right, that's the end of the video. Join us next week for episode 6. Bye.